Hello everyone, I'm Adrija. Welcome back. At first, I'd like to thank all of my viewers and subscribers for giving me such love and support. Thank you so much for staying by my side. Recently, we crossed 3 lakh subscribers on our YouTube channel, and I cannot express how happy I am. Thank you so much once again. Also, I see a lot of your comments, and I'm really sorry for not being able to reply to all of your comments. As you know that this year I got promoted to class 10 and I have my board exams, so I'm a little busy, but still your comments are the ones that inspires me a lot, that wants me to make a lot more videos. So thank you for always inspiring me. In a lot of my videos, the most commonly asked question that I come across is how can you be fluent in English, or how to improve your English speaking skills. So yes, this is a very important question, and today I'd like to speak about this. In one of my previous videos, if you have already seen it, I talked about how did I improve my English, and I talked about my journey of being fluent in English, and the link is given in the description box below, so please make sure to watch that video as well if you haven't watched it. And in this video today, I'd like to share some tips, some small tips by which you will be able to be fluent in English. I know that there are many people out there who are still struggling to improve their English. There are many people out there who does not have an English environment at their home, who did not study from an English medium school. They think that they studied from a Hindi medium school. So how will they speak in English? So here comes the actual problem. First, you should not ever worry about learning a language. Believe me, English is not a subject. It is just a language, and you will be able to learn it. And many people think that they are too old to learn a completely new language. So don't ever think of that, because believe me, English is a language, and if you want to learn a language, age never matters. You can be a small kid, you can be a teenager, you can be a quite older person. It never matters. You can learn a language at any time in your life. So in this video today, I'd like to share 3 simple steps which you need to follow consistently and strictly. If you are consistent in learning English, then believe me, learning English, learning a language would be in the palm of your hands. So let's get to the 3 steps. The first one is listening. I have said in a lot of my previous videos how much important listening is. I personally made a video about the importance, the power of listening, and if you haven't watched it, then please make sure to watch that video as well. So here I'd like to share in brief that how much listening is important and how can you improve your listening skills. Now, try to remember the way you learned your mother tongue. Okay, my mother tongue is Bengali. How did I learn it? I listened to my parents talk in Bengali. I listened to everyone talk in Bengali. Probably at first I wasn't able to understand, but later I started to understand, and I also wanted to speak, right? It would be the same with you. Whenever we learn a mother tongue, we listen at first and then try to speak it out. So that is how we learn a mother tongue. And our mother tongue is a language just like English. English is also a language. So why not we learn English in the same way we learned our mother tongue? So for that you need to listen. Now what will you listen to? Never listen to something that bores you. Always listen to interesting things, the things that you find interesting. Watch English movies. You can watch cartoon movies as they speak slow English, right? And then listen to English motivational speeches, listen to English interviews, English songs, English podcasts, English audiobooks. There are so many things to listen, and you have YouTube, Spotify, everything out there. Search something that interests you and listen to it. And listen to it more than one time, of course. And remember to practice it daily. Don't be like, I will start it one day, but the next day I have a lot of work to do, so let's stop that. No, you need to always find 15 to 30 minutes for your English listening. That doesn't require a lot energy, right? Nor does it take much of your time. Whenever you scroll through your mobile screens, just listen to some English speeches at that time, and I'm sure that is going to help you a lot. So this was the first one. Now the second one. Now guess what it is? After listening, what do we need to do? How did we learn our mother tongue? After listening, we try to speak it out. So yes, here comes speaking. Now speaking is very important, but there are a lot of people out there who are scared to speak in front of all others. And it happens, of course. When you don't know a language that well, you will be scared to speak it out in front of others. But don't be scared. Let other people laugh at you. It never matters. When you are learning a language, you should not care about what other people think of you. Okay? And you can also practice when you are alone at your home. So whenever you're alone at your home, you think of something, right? We always think of something, but we think of that in our mother tongue. Then think of that, try to think of that in English. And don't only think, speak it out as well. Because until and unless you practice speaking, you will never be able to learn a new language. How much grammar knowledge you have, if you do not practice speaking, then it will be in vain. Okay, so you should remember, always try to practice speaking. Always try to speak about anything that you find. Okay, something is going on around you, form sentences, form short sentences at first, then try to form long sentences, but try. And I'm sure when you try, you will always succeed. So the first one was listening, and then trying to speak, and then the third one is reading and writing. Now, how will reading and writing help you? Reading helps us to improve our vocabulary. And why do we need vocabulary? Sometimes when we try to speak about something, we get stuck. And do you know why we get stuck? Because we cannot find the right words, the correct words. It happens to me as well. When I am trying to speak in English sometimes, I might get stuck because there is a word that I probably know, but it's not just coming out. It happens to everyone. So for that, you need to read. And when you read, automatically your stock of words increase. And that is what is needed. If your stock of words increase, you will no longer be stuck when you are trying to form a sentence. So that is how much important reading is. And for reading, if you can read novels. My personal favorite is always novels. But if you are not that much interested in reading novels, then make sure to read comics and all. Right? There are a lot of good books out there that might interest you. So just find a book that interests you and read it. At first, start with children's book. They have easy literature. And then once you're familiar with them, go to like some books with difficult literature. Right? But that's your choice. Now let's talk about writing. Writing helps us to improve our thinking ability. Whenever you're writing a paragraph or probably just something, but you're writing it, you're trying to imagine it, right? When you're forming a story, you're writing a paragraph, your imagination power automatically increases, and thus your thinking power increases. And when you think very efficiently, your English also improves. So that is how much important writing is. Now, if you ask me, what will you write about? Right, you might not study in an English medium school, so you don't need to write English paragraphs, English question and answers. Then what will we actually write about? The best and the most interesting option is diary. I mention it a lot because it's actually very interesting. Whenever you have time before going to sleep at night, just write down the things that you did that day. Probably some memorable things, some good things, bad things, anything. Write it on your diary. And when you maintain a diary, of course, your writing skill improves and when you look at your previous entries, you feel good. So that is how much interesting actually maintaining a diary is. If you start practicing it, then it is absolutely great. And also a bonus, it will help you in improving your English. So these are the 3 points, actually 4 points, because listening, speaking, reading and writing. So if you practice these 4 points consistently, then believe me, you won't even take a 1 whole year to learn the English language. It will be like very simple for you. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to memorize anything. Just practice these steps. And remember, reading and writing is always optional for you. You might want to do it. You might not want to do it. But never skip speaking and listening. I mean listening and speaking. Because those are actually the most important steps in order to learn any language. That might be English or any other language. So remember, never skip these 2 points, listening and speaking. Always try to listen and speak every day in English. So these are the few points that I really wanted to share with you today. And if you have any other suggestions or any other doubts, then also please make sure to write it in the comment box below. If I can reply, I surely will. And I hope this video would be helpful to you. Try to practice these steps consistently and I'm sure you will succeed. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then click on the like button. And if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, then click on the subscribe button. Meet you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.